MTN is one of the biggest success stories in Africa and the Middle East, with over 189 million customers in 22 countries spanning 3 continents. In order to continue this successful performance and remain relevant in its markets in the future, MTN has adopted a new vision and mission: to lead the delivery of a bold new digital world to our customers and to make our customers' lives a whole lot brighter. The strategy that supports this new vision and mission comprises 5 key pillars, the first of which is creating and managing stakeholder value. And a key element in creating stakeholder value is to make MTN a great place to work. MTN recognizes that it is our people who will drive this strategy, our people who will live and breathe the new vision and mission that will take us into the future. This, therefore, requires us to review our cultural operating system and focus on how all MTNers should behave in order to support these changes.
It was important for MTN to look at the current cultural operating system and, in a sense, redefine it, because we're at an inflection point. We are looking at something new for the company. We are, from a technology perspective, we're moving more and more into the ICT space. Telcos in general are evolving, and as a result, we've had to reposition the group. And in line with our new strategy, we of course needed a new support system, something that's going to help it to succeed.
We're quite knowledgeable and are quite clear about issues around processes, around systems, in terms of running the business. But we just now need to start becoming clearer on issues of behavior and culture that have positive and negative impacts on our business.
One of the main challenges for MTN is to capture the synergy of its operating companies in ways that create greater efficiencies and scale, without undermining their entrepreneurial spirit, their innovation, and their ability to respond to local needs.
I think it was a great opportunity for all of us coming from different operations to reflect in the morning on different ideas and different recommendations that we all can agree on, and then we can start execute accordingly across all the organizations. First of all, we bring what Uganda feel as an organization, what is lacking with the relation with the group and the other OPCOs, and what could be beneficial for the operations to go forward. That's from one side. From the other side, it will be also good, and it's good to share the practices and the experience that we have in one operation with other operations.
Yes. Well, this will help us to inwardly focus on the key drivers that will change the way we do business and how we work across the organization for the same objectives. As MTN, certainly I've commenced some of those activities in terms of how do we take the objectives and strategies down to the lower levels of the people. And in doing so, clearly you can see a gap between how the leaders behave and how the staff at the low levels behave.
MTN also needs to achieve rapid and dramatic reductions in operating costs, while at the same time improving its ability to innovate and execute.
It's now important to see how best we can move the company forward by using our human resources more effectively and changing the environment within the company, enabling us to interact more productively, to save us in terms of operational cost, but create more innovation and productivity going forward.
The solution lies in MTN's cultural operating system, the norms, practices, behaviors, and unwritten rules that are the foundation of MTN's success. So, what is a cultural operating system? Culture is about people, and the operating system is about how they interact and behave toward one another, at individual level, at team level, and at organizational level for the benefit of the company.
The question is, independent of industry, is it possible that in any human system, a common cultural operating system would be essential for you to continue to innovate and execute?
What we're trying to do here is to understand what is that underlying system that enables MTN to perform. And in a sense, that's what we mean when we talk about a cultural operating system. What is that culture that we need at MTN to ensure that we demonstrate and display the right behaviors that will lead to the right performance that we're looking for.
MTN, in association with Vital Smarts, recently embarked on an innovative program to develop a world-class cultural operating system across the MTN Group and its operations, which will drive both innovation and execution while aligning the culture in a way that supports MTN's efficiency goals. The purpose of the MTN COS strategy is to position MTN for success as it moves into the next stage of its business life cycle by identifying the vital behaviors and performance management KPIs, and to transfer the applied influencer process to MTN's leaders so they can continue to replicate the process independently. The creation of a new MTN COS commenced in July 2012 with the development and approval of the COS business case by Group Exco.
I think what has been quite unique about this process is that it really started with the very top leadership. We had Group Exco and then ultimately the quarterly review that is comprised of all the CEOs of all the 22 countries within MTN's footprint. And that group essentially were the first group of people to really look at the cultural operating system and try and understand what it is that we're going to need to be successful in the future.
It's a process by which we start defining more clearly what is the kind of culture that we want to make sure is in place that will also support us in delivering results that we need to deliver.
Pathfinder OUs were selected and were tasked with the process of corporate introspection to discover and understand which behaviors are barriers and which are enablers to the company operations, and to develop an enterprise-wide strategy for the formation of an MTN cultural operating system.
It's the concept that even with really complex change challenges, often just a couple of behaviors are the key to driving change. So that's one of the first things you have to do in creating your change strategy, is articulate what are the vital behaviors.
It's been most beneficial to identify what are causing the problems in the organization, as well as all the good things we are doing. And I think just during the exercise, I found the staff has been very enthusiastic about it, just giving them the opportunity to speak to the CEO, to voice their concerns and views in itself has been hugely beneficial.
We need to make sure that we've got the right ingredients, the key human softer side drivers to take this business forward.
We're serving human beings and we're using human beings to serve other human beings. The techniques will change, and that's a constant, especially in the telco environment. But human beings will remain at the end and human beings will stay at the beginning.
We have a lot of great people in the company. And the real challenge will be to bring them all together and make them one front. And we've seen a lot of tools and mechanisms to do that.
We come to a position where we have to transform ourselves from within, our character, our identity and our culture, to really transform our performance in the coming years.
Through a process of them defining some of those behaviors and then going into a wider process of consulting various opinion leaders across the MTN footprint, and really going quite deep into the organization, many thousands of people being consulted, we finally drew it back to the top group and concluded these 4 behaviors.
MTN has identified 4 vital behaviors that all MTNers need to embrace and practice in order to drive and support our strategy into the future. These vital behaviors are: complete candor. I openly and candidly share my views, regardless of the level or position of the person I am addressing.
We looked into the organization and into our current culture, and what we found was that some people felt that they were not free to speak up, or they were concerned that when they speak up there might be some consequence, which was a surprise for us because of course that's not the type of culture that we were wanting to create. And as a result, we decided that this is a key behavior to use to express, to ensure that people are able to express their opinions, because as we move into the future, we want to know what people are thinking, and if they're going to really be able to contribute to MTN's success, they would need to speak up without any consequence.
For an achieving group where we really are achieving results, what we need is to be more open, to speak up loud, to be transparent with each other. So I would say this area, if we work on, it will definitely improve our position.
Complete accountability. When I need to hold people accountable to commitments and results, I speak to them directly, regardless of whether they are peers, senior leaders, direct reports, or anybody else.
Complete accountability really talks to all of us doing what we say we're going to do, and that we can rely on the fact that people will be doing that and that they will be held accountable for it.
I think the bit that has been particularly challenging for me in the MTN SA OPCO has been accountability. Just people, every individual, every exec, every GM, really taking accountability. Be it taking accountability for the customer's experience, taking accountability for market share down at the area, taking accountability for just OPEX savings and delivering on budget and delivering on plan.
Get it done. When I notice problems or risks, I take action to try to resolve them, or escalate when I can't, rather than waiting for someone else to notice them.
We're expecting people to take action and to do the necessary to ensure that it happens. And if it means that you have to escalate something before it becomes a crisis, or you have to ensure that people know about something early, then that's really what we're talking about when we say getting it done.
If you have the right framework to engage and to communicate and to work together, to collaborate, you get things done. And you get things done efficiently, in a timely manner, in the right budget, and it's important that we understand and we appreciate, all of us, the importance to get things done.
Active collaboration. I do not hesitate to sacrifice time and resources to support colleagues within or outside my function in the best interest of the overall enterprise. MTN.
In active collaboration, I think the important aspect is making resources available, that you will sacrifice your own resources and your own time and your own money or people to ensure that what is in the interest of the enterprise or of the team or of the division gets done.
Particularly what stands out in Nigeria, I think, is the collaboration, vital behaviour. We've got a history of operating in silos, departments competing with each other. So I think if we get the collaboration, vital behaviour significantly improved in Nigeria, it will have a huge effect on the success of the organisation, for one thing, and most importantly, but also for MTN Nigeria being a much better place to work.
From October 2012 through to January 2013, the Pathfinder OUs engaged in various activities and sessions to develop ways of introducing, embedding and supporting these vital behaviours throughout the group. This process included light bulb sessions with executives, large group interventions and 6-source influencer strategy workshops with their OPCO's opinion leaders, which allowed them to share the leadership and culture challenge with opinion leaders, share the vital behaviours that will shape our culture, identify the barriers and opportunities to culture and the vital behaviours, develop a shared commitment by all for the culture and future of the OPCO, confirm leader behaviour expectations to result in a leadership contract for supporting the vital behaviours, development of the 6-source influencer strategies for the local COS influencer playbooks to shape the culture and behaviours expected throughout the OPCO.
Our biggest asset at MTN is not the base stations, not the equipment, it's the human resource. And this is where our strength. And we really need to invest in this behavioral culture, so we bring all the resources to the optimal level of their performance.
But I think the most important thing is that our staff now believe that MTN leadership has come up with a structured process by which we can actually work on changing the culture.
we are already starting on active discussions and engagements around our culture in MTN Cameroon. We're spending a lot more time with the lower levels of the organization, listening a lot more, acting as servants towards the lower levels of the organizations, and particularly the regions as well, to understand the culture of the organization and to understand better how we can transform those vital behaviors in our organization to really give that, to give MTN that additional leverage we need.
We have identified two groups of people who are actually we would be focusing during 2013. First group is level 1 and level 2 employees, and second group is the ladies. So engagement, development and motivation of these, especially these two groups, will be the focus of all our effort around the activity that we plan for developing the group cultural operating system.
In January 2013, a Vital Behaviours Pulse survey was conducted in order to gain a view of how the vital behaviours were being received and implemented within the OPCOs, and to provide a benchmark from which to manage improvements towards cultural change.
We have conducted a feedback survey called the MTN Pulse survey. Roughly about 12,000 people participated, which gave a baseline of how people experience the vital behaviours in action by their interactions with their peers, with their team members, with their leadership. And what's interesting is the results were presented in January to the top management team. They rigorously discussed it. And I think the big gap at the moment is that there's work to be done. We are not yet where we want to be, and that's to be expected. We've only started the journey. And the Pulse survey will be continued throughout the year to be a temperature check. Ultimately, the vital behaviours are also going to be integrated into the group culture audit. And that will be the big tool that we'll use from a measurement perspective to give some real rigorous feedback on is change happening, where is improvements needed, and can we start celebrating some significant shifts in how people are experiencing the new cultural operating system.
So what has been achieved so far? MTN has developed internal capacity and capability to develop the vital behaviours, skills and norms. We have aligned COS and vital behaviours to MTN's Integrated Performance Framework, IPF. We have communicated vital behaviours through ongoing campaigns. Various OPCOs have conducted large group interventions with formal and informal opinion leaders. OPCOs are deploying their local COS influencer plans and strategies. MTN recognizes that to change the way our people behave takes time, understanding and commitment, and the total support and involvement of senior management who are boldly walking the talk.
Well, leadership must be at the forefront of the whole process. As leaders, we have to ensure that we adopt it and practice it. We walk the walk.
To me, there's been a lot of focus and attention with this whole exercise, focusing on making sure there's complete buy-in and commitment from the leadership, because they are the one that's going to make it happen at the end of the day.
It affects what we become as an organization going forward, and really I think it's so central to our future success that it's something that we have to make the time to do. We all have to be living this from day one, and that's all of us in the organization.
What we're going to have to ensure is that these leaders are actually demonstrating and displaying the values that we've just spoken about. So it's going to be a very transparent process, because it's going to, we'll all know whether we're living those behaviors or not, and expressing those behaviors. And I think through that, in a sense, we also breathe new life into MTN's values.
It's important, and I believe for all of us, to engage, to be part of the process, correct where it needs correcting, but most importantly, take ownership.
Now we need you, the people of MTN, to embrace and embed our new cultural operating system, and to practice and live the vital behaviours that will support and drive our strategy towards achieving our vision and mission, and to shape a new future for MTN. So join us on this journey into a bold new digital world to shape a bright new future for MTN.